Hey guys, welcome to Five Star Guns and Gear, and we're going to be installing this FX carbon fiber barrel liner sleeve here. Just going to get everything measured up here. Going to need a 3 millimeter Allen wrench. Going to go ahead and remove the scrub screw right here. That's actually what's holding the barrel assembly in. Make sure everything's decocked. And removing the barrel is simple as that. Just going to pull it out now. It may be a little bit tight, depends on if those O-rings are lubricated real good, but it will come out. All right, there it is. And here we go. Here's your barrel, and down here, that's your transfer port, your shroud, and this is a sleeve that actually is over your barrel liner. And we're going to be installing this carbon fiber uh, sleeve over the barrel itself. So that barrel liner will get the sleeve. So just unscrew your shroud, pull it off, set it to the side. And this is what we're going to be disassembling here. And there's a jam nut here. Takes a 10 millimeter. So just get you a 10 millimeter wrench. And you're going to have to unscrew this. Now, guys, be careful. The threads are a little bit sharp on this. You can cut your fingers. This may be just a little bit tight. Might have to get something to help grab with, but it will come loose. And just continue to unscrew it. And that's going to expose the barrel liner once we get to it. So just be careful and don't cut your fingers on that unscrewing it. If you need to, just use something to help hold it. All right, next we need to take this barrel out. And the barrel liner is in here pretty good. Probably going to have to get something like some pliers or something. I would not recommend putting them directly on the liner itself. So I'm just going to get some leather here, and I'm not going to clamp hard. I don't want to damage the barrel, just enough to kind of put some pressure on it, hold it, twist it, and you'll see it start slipping out. There we go. And you'll see one O-ring here and another one followed by a third. Those are going to come off. Now on this barrel, you can see on this end here, there is a little recessed area, a little line that goes around. That is going to be your pellet in. So make sure when you assemble this, you have it in the right direction. Let's go ahead and take these O-rings off. You will not need these O-rings, but I'll go ahead and hang on to them in case for some reason I need these O-rings for future project or something. I'll have them on hand. Pretty simple. This barrel is stamped with the information, like this 30 cal. It tells you the barrel twist and everything, so that's pretty cool. And you can see the rifling is pressed from the outside, and it is full length of the barrel. Some of the older FX barrels are just rifled at the one end of it and not all the way down. But the newer barrels, they're rifled all the way down. So you should be able to see that in there. Pretty cool. So from here, we just need to get this barrel cleaned up, and I'm going to use some acetone. You can use some alcohol, whatever you want, and we're just going to scrub this barrel. I wouldn't say it's required, but I highly recommend it. Way if there's any grease or residue or anything on it, clean it up. You'll be able to see on this little shop rag. It's a little bit dirty. It's not too bad, but it does have a little bit of filth on it. All right, so from here, just got the barrel liner and we got the carbon fiber sleeve and I got a little thread locker. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. And we got the jam nut. Now you do not have to use this. You do not have to glue it in place. You can use epoxy or some thread lock, something just it's going to act as an adhesive. I'm just going to put adhesive on the very ends. And the reason why I'm doing that, where this sleeve does not slip end to end, it's not going to rattle because it's pretty tight fit. But there is a little bit of a gap you're going to have to leave. You want to make sure that jam nut fully seats in there. So you got to determine how much you need on the opposite end. So I'll show you what I'm going to do there to judge that. Pretty simple though. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and push that carbon fiber sleeve nearly to the end. And go ahead and slip it back in here. And I'm going to push it all the way until it stops. And then I'm just going to make sure it's flush and all the way in. And I'm going to pull it right back out. That's all you have to do there. Just want to make sure that it's seated all the way. And this is going to tell me exactly where the barrel liner is going to be. So I'm going to put the jam nut on here. And you can see it's going to leave probably about probably a quarter inch or so. And we need to split that difference because we want that distance equal on both sides for when it's in the tube and everything. So I'm just going to split the difference there. But I don't want it slipping forward and backwards. So that's the only reason I'm going to use some thread lock, and I'm just going to use just a dab on each end and kind of eyeball it and kind of use that tool just to kind of give me a reference of how far away from that jam nut it's going to be. Now you can go all the way down this barrel, but I may want to take this off at some time, and I think I'll be able to get it off if I just put it on the ends. Like I say, you're not going to get any vibration because it is a friction fit, but I do not want under recoil and stuff after shooting it a lot, it moving back and forth. I don't know if that'll mess with the harmonics. I do want it in place, so just some light adhesive. That's all it's going to need, and uh, that's about the distance we're going to want it from that jam nut. We'll slip this just real quick. Go ahead and put some adhesive down here. Like I say, you can use a two-part, and you can actually put it along the entire barrel length. Just make sure whatever's not covered by the carbon fiber, you wipe all the excess off. And we'll make sure that we get all that off of there. That way there's no adhesive hard enough outside of the area that we don't want it on. Put a little bit more here because I actually slipped that down. I went the opposite way. I should have started on the other end at first, and I did not, but that's all right. It's a really simple job. It's going to make this barrel a lot more rigid, and we'll see if it'll help with any accuracy. All right, that's about where we want it. I can kind of just gauge it by putting that there. That was just kind of eyeball reference. It doesn't have to be precise. I just do not want that right up against the jam nut. I just wanted to have a little bit off that jam nut, and I wanted to kind of split the difference of where it stopped in the tube originally. So that should be centered once it's in there. Go ahead and clean this off, a little acetone, and we're just going to go ahead and slip this in. Really simple process. Make sure you get that lined up on the right direction, and the area with that line is going to go in first, and of course that is your pellet end, and that's as far as it's going to go there. I'm going to go ahead and reassert that jam nut, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up. And I get something to grab onto this pretty good, and I give it a pretty good snug up once it's on there. You don't want that liner rattling around, so make sure you do have it snug. Now, off camera, I didn't show you. I actually went ahead and cleaned this barrel, and I actually lapped this barrel. Just used some board bright on it, and it's pretty easy. Lots of demonstrations online how to do that, but I didn't make y'all watch that. All right, that's all there is to it. We got it all together there. We need to go ahead and put the barrel shroud back on, and it's as simple as just going ahead and reinserting it, and make sure you screw it back together, and make sure you have a snug fit there. Pretty darn simple. It's actually a really fast process that you go through, uh, and a really cheap upgrade, about $30. And I think it's really nice to go ahead and put this in, get rid of those O-rings. All right, go ahead and use some of this silicone grease. I'm just going to put just a dab around the O-rings. Pretty simple. Not doing anything that we normally wouldn't do when we're reassembling. There's no reason to slather up too much on there. I just put a really thin coat on it. That's really all it needs. This gun's almost brand new. I only had a few mags shot through it, probably about a 10 of pellets so far. And that little notch right there is going to go down. So that way, when you put it back in, on the 30 cals, it's only going to go one directions. On the 25s and 22s, and I think the 177s, I believe they have it where it will flip both ways. One for pellet, one for slugs. So just orient it the directions depending on if you're shooting pellets or slugs. On 30 cal, you just have one direction. So it's going to slide in, and that little recessed notch is going to go down. Before I actually snug that grub screw back up, I'll show you in just a second. I'm going to take a magazine and I'm going to put it in there and make sure that everything goes in and nothing's binding up. And you can see it right there is all the way through. I want to just push one more time, make sure I've got it firmly seated. If for some reason the mags are hanging up, you can go ahead and back that out a little, especially on these stud magazines. I love these. I'll give y'all some more information on these in a future episode. Really cool mags. That's what I run on mine. And these are critical that you do not have it too tight on the stud magazines because you can mess up the magazine. Go ahead, take the 3 mil, take that grub screw, and let's tighten it back up. That's it. Pretty simple. All right, got the carbon fiber sleeve in there, and that's going to help make that a lot more rigid. So, all right, guys, if you're subscribed, thank you very much. If you're not, please consider subscribing. Would certainly appreciate it. Appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. Certainly appreciate that. Also, if you would consider hitting that thumbs up. If you want to hit that thumbs down, please hit it twice. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next episode.